I was wrong. Jay-Z lost. What up, words? Your boy Charles Brown back again, talking facts. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. Keep sending those Cashaps to CLBMG. Join the membership gang. Listen, I'm not going to say I was 100% wrong because they do plan to appeal. I was right in the sense that he would sue Tony Busby, which he did, and he would go after him trying to snatch his license. I 100%, and the law system is funny, gang. It's a fluky thing, but I 100% thought that Busby was dead wrong in his approach to the Diddy and Jay-Z the sexual assault case. And I did believe he defamed Jay-Z, and I thought that they would take Tony Busby's license. I'm just going to be honest. But apparently that was thrown out in court, and Jay-Z did not get Tony Busby, the creepy ambulance chaser lawyer. He did not get this guy off the map with his lawsuit against him, and the judge didn't see it the same way. They said, no, Hov, you got to try again because we don't think that he deserves to have his license taken. I'm going to read this article, but I 100%, I thought he really took a bad case. He took a client that clearly had mental issues, right? She clearly was slow. There was no way her story made any sense. It didn't add up from beginning to end. I say it all the time that before I even saw her interview with NBC, that her story made no sense. And slowly but surely, people started to come around. When I first said, I don't believe her, I'm not one of these people who immediately deny or disbelieve victims' claims. I try to give them a shot. So it wasn't a thing where I immediately said, no, she can't be telling the truth. But once I heard what she was alleging, that she drove from Buffalo, a friend dropped her from Buffalo to Midtown, New York, Manhattan, 8-hour trip. She just dropped her there at 13, left her there. She found a driver after scouring different people, she found a driver that was going to take her to the MTV Video Awards after party. This is all alleged. And she found Diddy's driver, his personal driver for his limo. He said, bet, I'll take you to his party. You just meet me back here at 9 o'clock, something like that. So she met him back in whatever area in Manhattan at 9 o'clock. I think she said it was a row of limos, and she found the right one. And he took her back to Jersey, took her across the bridge to Jersey. She was at a party with a couple party goers who were celebrities, and she started naming some celebrities who weren't even at the party. They weren't even in New Jersey or New York. They didn't attend the VMAs at all that year. So she was off by that. Just a lot of stuff didn't add up. She went to the party, spoke to these different rock stars. They weren't even rappers. They were rock stars and different people. And then was taken into a room by J-Lo, who was, I believe, was the plaintiff or defendant A, I believe they were calling her, or in Diddy, they named Diddy, and the defendant B, A, B, and C, or whatever they were naming them, and went back, revised the lawsuit to name Jay-Z in the lawsuit when he wouldn't pay. So I felt like that's a clear-cut case of extortion and defamation, which Jay-Z went on with a fiery response that he would be defending his name, and you got the wrong guy, buddy, you ambulance chaser. So he went after Busby, and I thought that Jay honestly had a real solid case, okay? And she said she was in Diddy's room, and J-Lo, they didn't say J-Lo, but I'm saying J-Lo because I know that's who the third person was supposed to be. And Jay-Z and Diddy accosted her while J-Lo watched, and then she broke free, hit him, kicked one of them, ran out the townhouse or whatever it was that he lived in Jersey, ran to a gas station and called her dad. Her dad came and picked her up, didn't ask her any questions. He drove her home for 8 hours, never said a word. The dad doesn't remember this whatsoever, even though he's in his early stages of dementia or something of that effect. But he said he still will remember something that serious. I guess he said he has no recollection of it. I'm saying dementia, but they didn't disclose what memory issues he has. But at the end of the day, he says he doesn't remember this, right? I've always said that it didn't make any sense, and that Tony Busby took a case that he knew there was no merit to, but he didn't care. He never vetted the girl fully. He didn't even know that the girl was going to go on NBC News and tell this wild tale of this 13-year-old who can break away from 2 grown men, right? And run through a party. No one remembers the girl. So it never made any sense, right? Busby took the case anyway, tried to shake Jay-Z down, didn't pay him anything. So then he released his name to the public, which to me is a clear-cut case of defamation, right? Unlike the bubble bath rapper who's trying to sue for a rap battle, this, my friend, is a completely different issue. Let me read this article and we can have a little more substance of what happened. But it's just like the law has been surprising me lately, gang. I'm just gonna be honest. Some of the stuff it's just weird, and it's just they're throwing around pardons and all kind of stuff. It's just strange. So let me talk to you for a second. Jay-Z's attorney, Alex Spiro, has already confirmed that the rapper intends to file an appeal of the decision to throw out his defamation lawsuit against attorney Tony Busby. Jay-Z suffered a major legal blow after Los Angeles County Judge Mark Epstein dismissed his extortion and defamation case against the Texas lawyer. In the ruling obtained by Rolling Stone, Epstein admitted he was not fully happy with the decision and suggested the Court of Appeals would determine whether he was correct. So he'll probably appeal it, but if it was this easily thrown out by this judge, that Court of Appeals is probably going to do the same thing. It sounds like the judge didn't really even consider it. I'm just going to be honest. Let me continue. Quote, there is no demand for a particular sum of money, although that is not enough to protect the letters. The real problem for Carter is that the mediation request is about the sexual abuse allegations underpinning a potential civil case and nothing else. So it sounds like they're saying that Jay-Z's only trying to file this so the girl doesn't come after him in a civil case. That's what the judge is saying. He believes that Jay-Z's only doing this, coming after Busby, so they can't go after him civilly, which would be just more money, more wasted time, more attorney's fees. So if the judge doesn't see any merit in it, and he think you're just doing this on some protecting your dollar, then it is what it is. He has no more. He's going to wipe his hands of it, take it to the appeal court. He already know, Spiro, he already know you're going to the appeals court. He's not worried about that because it's out of his hands at that point. Let me keep it moving. There are no extraneous allegations as to publicizing or other unrelated and unsavory things related to Carter, and there are no promises to refrain from going to law enforcement if Carter agrees to mediate and does settle, Epstein wrote in his ruling. That's interesting. So basically saying that they didn't expect anything, they weren't looking for anything, according to the judge, right? Let me keep this moving. He continued, while it is true that the alleged conduct here constitutes criminal activity, he just said it constitutes criminal activity. Busby said it right there. That's very important. Let me continue. Defendants fall well short of threatening to go to the police unless Carter pays up. So he's saying that the female who accused Diddy and Jay and his lawyer never said they were going to the police if they didn't pay up. Now, that's still, I think the judge is missing the point, because even though they didn't say they weren't going to the police, they did insinuate we would keep your name as defendant A or B or whatever defendant name he was, that we would keep it silent. And when he didn't pay, they went back and revised it and put his name in there. That, to me, Judge, just going to be honest, no, they're not saying we're going to go to the cops, but they went to the media. By releasing that name, they went public, and now this man is fighting for his reputation back. So Tony Busby put this man's name out to the public when he didn't pay. Judge, I think you're making a mistake. I'm just going to be honest. But this is his thing. He probably don't want to be the one that sent Tony Busby a whole different direction with his career and pull his license, this, that, and the third. He probably don't want to deal with it. I'm just going to be honest. This sounds like somebody like, I don't want to deal with it. Tony Busby got a lot of connects up in here. I don't got to deal with Tony Busby, because he could be cool with Tony Busby for all we know. This could be some conflict of interest for all we know. It's boggling my mind that this guy is saying that just because they said they didn't say they're going to go to the cops, that it's not a criminal. This is weird. Like I'm telling you, man, this stuff is just funny business. They clearly try to extort him, and when he didn't pay, they outed his name. But the judge is saying, well, they didn't say they were going to go to the cops. Make this make sense, gang. Let me continue, man. This is weird. I'm just going to be honest. Selling silence as to law enforcement for money is extortion, but there is no promise of silence in the criminal context here. And selling silence for money in the civil context is not extortion. It is a settlement with a non-disclosure element. I disagree, Judge. I think you could say, I'll be quiet if you pay me, I'll be quiet. That's extortion. He's making it like, wait, they didn't threaten to out you or send you to the cops. That's extort. Most of these civil cases have nothing to do with the cops. Come on, Judge. You should know this. This is weird, man. I'm just gonna be honest. Let me continue. Busby previously represented a Jane Doe who accused Jay-Z and Diddy of allegedly raping her at a party in New York City when she was just 13 years old after the anonymous woman dropped the case last year. Remember, gang, she dropped it herself. Jay-Z didn't drop this thing. She dropped it herself. Busby didn't drop this thing. She dropped it herself. Okay? I'm just going to be honest. This is not some conjecture. This happened. Okay? Let me continue. Jay-Z then went after Busby and he claimed that the lawyer allegedly tried to extort him with the case. Quote, "We are surprised and disappointed by this ruling, which turns on the misapplication of California law on the admissibility of the investigators' statements," Carter's lawyer, Alex Spiro, told Rolling Stone in a statement. Notably, the judge expressly states that his decision would have changed dramatically if he had admitted the statements into evidence, as they would have shown not only that Carter had nothing to do with any sexual assault on Jane Doe, but that Busby knew it. And thus the court would come out the other way on this motion. Spiro concluded by confirming that they plan to appeal the decision. Like I said, man, you could say I'm wrong, right? I'm not wrong. I said, in a sense that Jay-Z did go after this guy. He tried to get him on extortion and he tried to get him on defamation. But this is the judge's decision, gang. I feel like I think the judge is making a mistake in the situation, but it is what it is. So technically you could say, Challz, he didn't rule with it in his favor. It doesn't mean he didn't do it, all right? So at that, I'm going to eat that. I don't agree. So I'm not going to sit and say, no, I was just dead ass wrong. No, I was right that this guy did go after him for extortion and defamation, but the judge decided otherwise. He decided to go against that, and I just got to eat that. It is what it is. Jay, you took a loss, right? It is what it is. I don't know what the appeals court going to do, because the appeals court might say the same goddamn thing. All right, I'm going to leave it at that, man. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is Jay-Z right? Is this defamation, or is this just some Jay-Z loss and eat it? Move on with your life, your beautiful kids, your beautiful wife. All right, CLBMG, man. Head on over to black-yeti.com. They got all kind of new flavors over there. They got the white papers, the black papers, all that good stuff like that. There, you got to put a dash in the middle, black-yeti.com. Check them out. They do answer the chat. So if you chat, ask them a question, they will reply promptly. Okay. Also, every Wednesday night, we go live on the What Show. We will be talking about this and other things. We talk about all things hip-hop related. We have a great time. And a lot of old heads in the chat. We get 200 plus people. Make sure you're one of them. Let them know how you got there and how you found the program. All right. I'm gonna catch you on that flip side. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine. Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.